We're going dual in the desert tonight. Welcome everybody to the Great Lakes Truck Series. My name is Hunter Brittle in the booth with my good friend Elliot Henderson, where we're live from the virtual Avondale, Arizona tonight for the second round in the Great Lakes Truck Series Season 9. Elliot, it's been a little bit since we've been to this track. How are we feeling about coming back here?
I think the drivers are all pretty excited. Last time we were here, we had a bit of domination, but I think they've learned their lesson because the first time we were here, we had a lot of yellows. Today, it looks like we've got a nice clean track, and the last time we were here, we didn't have quite as many yellows as previously. So we'll see how qualifying goes and get ready to get this race underway. Race number 2 on the season.
That's right, Jared Darling put a whooping on the field last night. The last time we were here back in season 7, led 115 of the 150 laps out of in that contest, an absolute dominant showing. Speaking of dominant showing, he's going to be trying his best, but Malad Radman is going to be looking to repeat after his heck of a performance back in Daytona last week, after leading all those laps with his good friends TCB and Jared Darling. So they're going to be looking to both of them to continue their performances respectively. We're on a little smaller of a course this week. It's not your super speedway anymore at Daytona. This is could be more considered more of a short track in real life. The team set up their cars to be a short track. It's kind of a violent one, especially with that dog leg down there after the start finish line. How do you think those drivers are going to handle that? Are we going to be seeing that dog leg used all the way down there to the bottom, or are they going to stick up more on the racing surface, Elliot?
I'm interested to see really what they do in 3 and 4 or 1 and 2 as well. Sorry, we're gonna probably make that mistake a lot tonight, calling 1 and 2, 3 and 4, since that change happened years ago, but no one can really get that out of their heads. Watching Jared Darling go around last pole sitter at this track. Sorry, I believe that's Brent King caught in the one truck. No, it is Jared. I'm getting my numbers mixed up.
We had a lot of number changes in the offseason, so it's going to be rough for both of us.
I'm so used to Brent being in the one. So as Jared puts his laps in here, and there's Jackson Sims on track now, I think you're going to see a lot of guys cut that dog leg. It's going to be obviously a big sticking point. The big question is going to be with our restart rules and not being able to change lanes, how aggressive those guys are going to be passing that start finish line and how much they're going to fan out, getting ready to go into turn 1. But as I was really trying to say, that turn 1 and 2 section in real life, those guys will go really all the way down to the inside wall because there's grip down there. The sim doesn't really provide that. You don't really have all that grip down there. So I'd be interested to see if guys even really use the apron. You try to stay above the yellow line there, coming back down onto the backstretch and into turn 3. So we'll just have to see what they decide to do. But for sure, we'll see guys cutting the inside and going pretty much all the way down that inside wall through the dog leg at a minimum.
Lots of action on the table tonight with all the different lanes to run here at this track. With that fanning out, it lends itself to a lot of action, a lot of beating and banging, and a lot of cautions. Like you said, in our first race here, all the way back, I think before even I joined the league, it was a bit of a bloodbath here with the number of cautions that we had. I know you were here to witness that. What lends itself to that happening? Is it just the amount of the different lanes that we have here? What makes this track so treacherous?
I think it's just a short track racing overall in iRacing. There's a lot of chances to just be aggressive, and you go into a corner and the guy in front of you maybe doesn't drive in as deep as you do, and then you're stuck in the middle of the corner trying to lift and get out of it, and you get run over from behind. It just kind of leads to guys charging corners and getting caught in really awkward positions. So especially here where there are multiple grooves going into 1 and 2, you can run the wall, you can run down on the apron. You're going to see a lot of different techniques, and I think it's going to put guys in really vulnerable, really awkward spots to where they might be 3, 4 wide and just kind of slip up a little bit and tag someone else. And unfortunately, this track, with how much you're turning left and how flat the corners are, as soon as you tag someone the wrong way, 9 times out of 10, they're just going to spin out, very similar to a New Hampshire or a Milwaukee. So they don't really have the banking to save them and help kind of readjust the truck. They're just going to start sliding and ultimately hit that outside wall. So we'll have to just pay attention to how that goes and see how aggressive guys are. But like I said, last race here we only had about 5 cautions. First race here we had about 17, but that was a solid 3 or 4 years ago. So You'd like to think that maybe guys have learned and they've calmed down and we kind of know how to get around these short tracks a bit more, but we'll have to see how that goes as the race unfolds.
Lots of different action to follow on the night. Currently sitting in qualifying with 9 seconds left on the clock. It looks like Nathan Jump is going to be your pole sitter for tonight, winning it by 7 hundredths of a second, pretty handily over Ashton Lawson in second place there. Um, Jump really having a come on strong here in the last season or so. He left us about halfway through last season to go run another league to go learn some other techniques, and now he's back and looks like he's learned something there. He's come off and really put on a show in the back half of last season and this one too. We'll look to see how he can carry that on. I know this track in particular is one of his favorites, so look for Nathan Jump to perform well here tonight in the desert.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see how this top five overall runs. Sims right there in sixth, and then Hunter Magdalenas in seventh is very interesting. But the whole top five is a lot of solid drivers. Jump, obviously, we know Radman qualified up in fourth, coming off that Daytona win. Returning Christopher Heller, very good driver, potential Hall of Famer in the Great Lakes Racing Series. And then former truck champion Zach Henry and another former truck champion Ashton Lawson starting in second. So Ashton's usually really good at these short tracks. Interested to see how aggressive he wants to be with Jump here. He drives very 50-50. Sometimes he's very aggressive, other times he's very relaxed and lets the race come to him. So we'll have to see if he goes after Jump, because clean air here is also a very big deal.
Big big names in the top five. And we'll get you a full starting lineup here once the field gets rolling. Interestingly, Shane Neiswanger, GLR, dare I say, long time member, Shane Neiswanger, back in the field way back in 21st. We'll have to look and see how he performs coming back up through the field. Got a long way to go from that 21st starting spot. The cars are looking to roll off of pit road here. Just waiting for the iRacing pace truck to start rolling, and there it goes. So we'll give you a full field rundown here. On the pole, winning the first starting spot tonight, we have Nathan Jump and Ashton Lawson to his outside, completing the first row.
Zachary Henry will roll off third. Again, your former champion of season 6. Malad Radman is going to line up fourth, coming off the Daytona win last week.
The return of Christopher Heller tonight in the 5th position. Very happy to see him come back. Hall of Famer in GLR. In GLR performance, he's got a lot of wins in our other series that we have going on in our league. And to his outside, he has Jackson Sims.
Hunter Magdalenas, one of our younger but star talents in the series, lining up 7th. And Matt Durr, Dark Horse, is I'd say one of their new lead drivers out there, running 8th, coming off a really good Daytona run as well.
Starting 9th, we have John Barry in the number 74 on Spectrum. Interested to see how he can carry this, go forward with this. I believe he's a newer member to our league. And to his outside, Brent Kingcott in the number 5, rocking a new number this season, as we noted earlier. So we'll have to watch that number 5 truck go forward.
And the guy who dominated this race last time we were here, starting 11th, Jared Darling. Unfortunately, not a great starting spot for him tonight. He'll have to come up through the field. And E95 esports driver Tyler McClellan starting in 12th tonight.
Lewis Woodall in the 13 truck will start in his number 13, the 13th position there on the inside, and with his Dark Horse teammate Robin Durr to his outside in the 10 truck.
Dale truck, Tyrell Baker, otherwise known as TCB, Malad Radman's teammate tonight, starting 15th. Alex Fetter to his outside in 16th.
Relative of Zach Henry, last year's champion, Preston Henry, making his Phoenix debut for in GLR, and Aiden DuPont in the 18th position to his outside.
Mr. Pink, Eric Kepf, will roll off 19th, and to his outside, returning Adolfo Delgado.
Shane Neiswanger in the number 49 Zen Bandit truck, running a special paint tonight, and with Michael Senzi to his outside on E95 in the 37.
Matt Green, new driver to the league, rolling off 23rd, with Gavin Fitzgerald, one of the old veterans, on the outside in 24th.
James Shiflett in the 28th will start in the 25th position, with Rod Fosnaugh to his outside in the 4 truck.
And the rest of the field did not qualify. Pace truck is off, and we're going to take the green this time by. But just to finish it off, Spencer Owens, Mike McConville, Nicholas Carlesi, Austin Moore, and Aiden Roberson will round out the rest of the field.
We're ready to go racing here in the desert. It's going to be a day going into night. We'll have to look and see how that transition affects everyone going forward. 150 laps here in the desert as they turn into turn 3, going into the restart zone. Nathan Jump waits until the green flag and takes off as the field fires off into that dogleg. Already seeing the dogleg be used. They're 4, 5, 6 wide going all the way back.
Yeah, you can see just how aggressive that gets with Madalinas, Heller, and Radman all right there, right behind Ashton Lawson. Madalina's going to make up a few spots here as they cycle down the backstretch.
Nathan Jump out to a 3, 4, 5 car. As Chris Heller is already around in the back, we got caution on the first lap, takes out Matt Durr in the process. We're going to have to look and see how many cars get collected in that because this is a tight track here. Carnage ensues early on at Phoenix.
Yeah, it looked like Heller just kind of got caught out there, and they were actually 3 wide. I don't know that Radman really knew that.
Yep, cold tires striking early. It's just looking like the grip really isn't up on these trucks until a couple laps into the race, and then Chris Heller getting caught by surprise. That 3 wide, being put 3 wide in the middle, didn't really help, and he was 3 wide going back into turn 3. Got caught on the inside of Milad Radman and just run out of real estate right there.
And Radman saying he was never told he was 3. You can see it on the replay there. Heller just kind of went into the corner, was not aware that Radman was going to pinch that hard because he didn't know they were 3. And Matt Durr piled in there, and just an unfortunate circumstance for Heller. Heller ran really well here in previous races, but not going to have a good one tonight already as he's in the first accident.
We're going to have to see how that damage is going to affect him. It looks like he really only took it to the side there. Elliot, is that damage going to affect him? It's obviously not as much of an aero-dependent track as Daytona was last week. What's that going to look like for him going forward?
No, I think, Matt Durr and whoever got in the back of him are going to be way more hurt with that front end damage. Heller shouldn't be too bad off, but it was a really hard hit to the doors. So we'll just have to see. Aerodynamically, it's not going to be a big deal, but you got to wonder if, just where that hit happened may do something with the suspension, or it may actually end up hurting the truck. There have been odd hits before that kind of hurt the power of the truck or get into like a suspension area or kind of mess up the front end to where it actually does hurt power. But it just looks like right now that most of it's going to be that door contact, and we'll just have to see how his truck handles that.
Other drivers to note, all involved in this accident: Mike McConville, Rod Fosnaugh, Matt Durr, as you saw. Brent Kingcott was involved, and Matt Green as well. So tough start for them tonight as we make our return to Phoenix. It's you gotta wonder if we're gonna be hearing about that after this race. The driver's gonna be voicing how they feel about it coming back here. I know this may or may not have been a popular decision on the schedule, but we had faith in our drivers coming back here, and we're still looking forward to see how the rest of the night goes. Pace car will lead them down now, and it dives onto that long pit road as Nathan Jump leads them back through 3 and 4. He will control the start of this one this time as he fires off. Zach Henry just got left behind as Nathan Jump shot out of a cannon, putting already 1 and 2 car lengths in between them. As it looks like we're going to have Madalinas on the outside of the 26, Ashton Lawson, and everyone else is going to file back to single file until you get to about 10th place or so around Tyler McClellan and Aiden DuPont battling with Alex Fetter.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that Ashton and Madalinas are normally friends on track, although they get along pretty well in person. Those guys race really hard with each other. Madalinas gets the better end of that deal. Ashton going to start to cycle back here. Like I said, he either lets a race come to him or he's really aggressive on the start. It looks like he's letting this one come to him. Radman gets clear. TCB starting to make a move back there on Jackson Sims. And we apologize for the issue with the paint schemes, but those are all fixed now. And now we can see how beautiful all these trucks look again.
Trading paint striking again as Nathan Jump ticks off another lap. lap 7 complete into the books this time. Zach Henry starting to close back in on him. He's got something to say. As you can see, the different lines that they take into 1 and 2, you really can run 1 and 2 very differently. I've seen a lot of running up high at the wall and then arcing back down to get the long run off. And then we've seen just wrapping the bottom to get that the shortest way around the track, and sometimes be the fastest. But a lot of options here tonight at Phoenix in 1 and 2.
These guys have all kind of cycled in now, and it looks like TCB is basically your biggest gainer. He's moved up from 15th to 6th. Another one that's moving up is Eric Kett from 19th to 10th. May have gotten a little bit of help from that wreck that happened. May have just jumped a few trucks by running the bottom, but Mr. Pink moving his way up. Right behind him is Robin Durr in the 10, also moving up. Started 14th. He's up to 11th, so gained a few spots there. As Ashton Lawson now loses a spot to TCB. TCB up into the top 5.
Further back in the pack, there's a battle for the 13th position. This between Tyler McClellan and Spencer Owens. Tyler kind of overshot turn 4 last time by, and it's kind of put him in a bind there between two Spectrum teammates as he almost gets into the back of Gavin Fitzgerald, going back into 3. We'll have to see how that affects Tyler's tires going forward in this race. I know that's where you can lose a lot of grip in the tires if you're burning them off in the entrance to 3 specifically, as Shane Neiswanger goes by again.
Yeah, we're just on board with Shane there. He's moving up about 4 or 5 spots here from 21st up to, I believe that was a pass on 15th as he passed Tyler. 2 E95 drivers right behind them, Austin Moore and Michael Sensi. Austin Moore, remember, did not qualify. One of those guys started shotgun on the field. He has made his way up very quickly. He's already up battling for about that 15th spot.
Made his way halfway through the field. Back a few seasons ago, we used to have a bonus for the most positions gained in a race, and I know from personal experience you definitely increased your chances when you started from the back there. But I don't think we offer that point anymore. But Austin Moore still making his case. It's still a strong way to show how strong you are on the track. Is Austin Moore looking to move up here as Tyler McClellan continues to drop through the field here, now in the 16th position, still battling with Spencer Owens.
The top 2 have driven away. We've got a really strong battle here for 3rd between Madalinas, Radman, and now TCB has entered the mix. Radman and TCB are both saying that they're not going to be fast here tonight, and here they are both sitting in the top 5 trying to pounce on Madalinas. Radman had cleared Madalinas, and then Hunter went back around him. TCB said he'd be working that outside like he is out by the wall through 1 and 2, and it seems to be working for him. Again, he's gained a significant amount of spots up into the top 5 now, but we'll have to see how these guys work on Madalinas, or if Hunter can get up there and challenge those top 2. Oh, Radman gets loose off that corner.
Loose off of 4. I think not going to be fast is a bit of a relative term for those two as we go 3 wide into 1 here with that big wide entrance. We'll see how the different lanes handle that as TCB gets pinned to the bottom, has to wrap that yellow line there. Big moment there from Radman out of 4. Usually you see that coming off of 2 rather than off of 4, but the wide exit there invokes just matting the throttle and coming back, and sometimes that'll spin your tires there, as you saw on the 29 machine there, as Jared Darlin looks to capitalize on Radman's mistake there, coming back into it. He's kind of reeled back in that group of 5 kind of has reeled him back in with that little mistake there, so we'll have to see how that affects Radman going forward.
When you talk about capitalizing, how about Ashton Lawson getting a little twofer there and passing both these guys back after being passed by them earlier? So good on him to put himself back up into the top 5 from 6th. And now we've got a bit of a battle back here between John Barry and Jackson Sims. Sims has not really had the start to the race that I think he wanted. Started 6th, has dropped to 8th. John's been running about 9th the whole time, and Jared's been on the move forward. But Sims seems to be going backwards, struggling here at the beginning of this race.
Robin Durr there in the number 10 truck, started 14th, has solidly settled himself right in the 11th position, just riding at the back of these guys. He's got a little bit of a gap back to his teammate in Aiden DuPont. Robin's just going to be looking to see how these guys run this track, and always looking to learn how to go faster. We'll have to see how Robin goes forward and takes notes as you start to see Aiden DuPont right behind him. Gavin Fitzgerald, Shane Neiswanger creeping into the picture there. Um, there's going to be a lot more ebb and flow, or not any more ebb and flow than what was at Daytona, but it'll be a much slower march towards the front for a lot of these guys as the field gets a lot more fanned out here at Phoenix. As we've got a battle there for the fourth position as Ashton Lawson is taking it right to TCB.
Not sure if maybe we may have missed something with Louis Woodall, or if he was involved in that first accident. I couldn't remember exactly who got in the back of Matt Durr, but he started 13th and it's back to 21st, trying to make his way back up. Looks like he's got a clean truck, so I don't think he was involved in it. Just trying to drive his way back up here. May have hit it early. And just to update you guys on Christopher Heller, who was involved in the first accident, as McClellan catches the wall a little bit more off turn 2. Heller has dropped a lap down, currently last on the grid in 29th, and just going to kind of bide his time and try to get that lap back.
Chris Heller looking to have a triumphant return to Great Lakes Racing, but a rocky start to that. Tyler McClellan continues to drop through the field as we've got another. Ashton Lawson and TCB are side by side once again. I'm starting to notice a real pattern here on lap 20 out of 150. They might be seeing each other all night as they go side by side through the dog leg and now fire it down into turn 1 there. Ashton taking that middle line, TCB taking the top side. Look for him to get that big run off. If Ashton can just clear TCB, he does, and moves up as they run off down into turn 3.
Yeah, this battle's been really impressive, and it's brought Jared Darling into the mix, and I'm sure John Barry won't be too far back. How about John Barry? We don't know a whole lot about him. New guy to the league, ran decently well at Daytona, and sitting here running 8th currently. Started 9th on the night. Just a nice solid top 10 run. Going to see what he can get out of it as the race goes on.
Very impressive start to the season from John Barry there. We'll look to see how he can move forward tonight as the night progresses and we get later and later into the darkness here in the desert. I tell you, the front 3 have just checked out on this field. Kind of a good bit of distance between them, as it looks like Jump has about a 4, maybe 5 car length lead on Zach Henry. But that's how Zach races. He, as I'm sure you can attest, Elliot, he likes to let them get out there and maybe burn their stuff off a little bit. Zach Henry, the king at saving his tires. He really likes to come on strong, so we'll have to see how they race later on in the night.
Yeah, the top 3 just kind of seem to be in a class of their own, which is usually what happens at this type of racing. You know, the short tracks and these kind of 1 mile tracks basically lend to the top 3 kind of getting away, and then the other guys kind of fight for that last spot, and those guys can just kind of save tire and relax and drive off. I want to go back here and talked about Robin Durr and Eric Kepf earlier. How about Aiden DuPont right behind that group, and Shane Neiswanger, Gavin Fitzgerald battling right behind them. But Aiden has moved up 6 spots as well. Another big gainer as he's trying to get around Robin Durr here going into turn 3.
You want to talk about a big gainer. Gavin Fitzgerald started in the 24th position. He's up to 13th. There's a little group of them there who all started towards the back. Gavin started 24th. Austin started in 30th. Austin Moore, that is, started in 30th. Spencer Owens started 27th. They're all back to right at halfway through the field. We'll have to see how they can march forward as the night progresses.
TCB has not given up on this battle with Ashton Lawson. They're side by side again going into turn 3 as Radman and Jared Darling look on. John Barry's lost a little bit of ground and slipped back to Jackson Sims. The big thing we need to watch out for is see if these guys start catching the wall a little bit. We've seen Tyler McClellan do it a couple times where they just kind of get off the corner and the truck gets a little bit loose and they slide up in there and they catch the wall. In most cases, it's not a big deal, but in some cases, it'll really affect the handling of your truck.
It can tighten that truck up in a hurry, and we're at a track like this where you turn on the wheel and you saw on it for a long amount of time in turn 1 and 2, that can really affect you later on in the event. Lawson and TCB still side by side with a little door bang there, a little contact. Ashton gets sent a little bit down about a lane to the bottom as they go off into turn 1 there. I get the feeling that we're going to be seeing a little bit more of that as TCB puts the crossover on him heading into 3.
Well, when we got a little bit of break in the action, I think we're going to take a break here and come back to you in a couple minutes.
Back at the virtual Phoenix International Raceway, where Nathan Jump continues to lead on lap 33 out of 150. He's put a little bit of a gap on himself on Zach Henry there behind him, as Hunter Madalinas there in the 9 truck in third starts to close on Zach Henry. You have to wonder if Zach's starting to fade or if Nathan Jump's just hitting his second wind as he starts to take off into the night, and Zach Henry slips back into the clutches of Hunter Madalinas.
Yeah, I was trying to see if Madalinas was actually beating him on time, and he's not. Jump is still quicker out of the top 3. It's just the fact that Zach has kind of slipped off of what he was doing earlier, and maybe he's worn out the tires, or maybe he just doesn't really feel like pressing as hard, knowing that Jump's kind of there, and he has the same pace as him, but can't really track him down. So you never really know with Zach Henry. Very calculated driver. We know Madalinas is going to drive as hard as he can here, so we'll have to see what TCB can do now that he's finally clear of Ashton Lawson. But this battle between Lawson and Radman will not go away either. Ashton is just in the battle with everybody tonight, unfortunately, to try to keep that top 5 spot. It looks like he's finally going to lose it to Radman there.
I think Ashton's tires are starting to fade. While we were at break, TCB had gotten around him for that 4th position, and now Radman's gotten around him for 5th. Ashton put up a good fight, really holding it strong down there on the bottom of the racetrack. But I think now that everybody's seen that he's not as strong as, we got a little drama there up at the front, up in front of him there. TCB almost, and the 4 of Rod Fosnot, a lap car, having a little issue there going down into turn 1.
Yeah, Rod actually came up off that corner too, off turn 2, and kind of had Ashton checked up a bit as well, and put Jerry right on his back bumper. So you're going to have to work lap traffic here, and I don't know if Jump's caught anybody else yet. It looks like they've definitely caught Rod, and Matt Durr is going to be the next one up again with his damage. Mike McConville will be shortly after him. But it looks like
John Barry is on pit road.
Yes.
I don't know if this is a scheduled stop or not. Our fuel window is about 40 to 48 laps, so this is a little bit earlier than what we're used to. Elliot, are we seeing a strategy being played already?
Might be. I was just double checking to see if he had any type of damage or anything, and he didn't. I wouldn't try to short pit at this track, only on the off chance that we get a yellow and you're stuck 1, maybe 2 laps down, but he might know something we don't, and he's trying something. He was starting to sink back there. I'll say he was running about 10th or so after driving up to about 6th and hanging with Jared Darling for a bit. I believe Sims and Kepf have gotten around him, as and Aiden DuPont was also working on him there. So may just be resetting, getting tires. It's not really a fuel mileage race because you said they can only go 48 laps, so it's not a two-stopper out of the gate. They're gonna have to make 3 stops, and if you're gonna play it like it's going green the rest of the way, you might as well short stint it here and run those 3 stops out. The only issue for him is the fact that obviously Heller was a lap down and Jump is getting into this traffic with Fosna and Durs. So if a caution does come out during this little run, it's going to hurt him. And now he's stuck behind a bunch of lap cars as well, or lead lap cars on old tires as well.
Strategy already being played early on in this event here in Phoenix Raceway. This battle here in the mid pack starting to heat up as Aiden DuPont is fighting on the outside of Gavin Fitzgerald, Shane Neiswanger there, Austin Moore. That pack that's coming, the pack from the back, has caught this the second group, if you will, in the mid pack here, and they're putting it to him now, starting to work through it, and the action is heating up.
Talk about putting it to him. Aiden DuPont got a little annoyed with Gavin there. You could tell, gave him the bumper going into the corner. Austin gets a poor run off and is going to open the lane to Spencer Owens, who's going to clear him easily. Aiden to the outside of Gavin now, but I think Shane's got something to say. He wants to go forward, and all these guys are just kind of sitting here holding him up currently.
Those two wide in front of him was really impeding his progress there. Aiden's going to pin Gavin down to the bottom and try and get that run down the back as he gets into Gavin, sends him down. Contact here off of 2. I believe they're exchanging words on the radio. Not sure if it's friendly or not. I can't hear it, but I know it's happening. We'll have to follow that going forward as they're still going at it.
Gavin said they're all good, but you got to know that Shane's probably getting frustrated here. He seems like he's quicker than the 2 guys in front of him. Austin Moore's put himself in an awkward spot now where he's going to get back around Spencer, but I think out of all these guys, Shane's probably the one that's like, all right, guys, sort it out. We got to get going. I got to get going. I don't want to get eaten up by Spencer and Austin.
Shane looking to catch the back of that pink truck in Eric Kepf as he slips off into the distance while Shane's pinned behind the 14 and the 00. That's really for the lead of that big pack. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cars right there, all running under a blanket as Eric Kepf tries to scamper away from Shane as Gavin gets loose off of 3 again, or off of 2 again. We're going to have to watch for that going later on in the night as these tires are starting to wear here at the end of these runs. Turn 2 has been known to claim a couple trucks here in this series in particular. Off of 2, it gets hairy trying to put the power down as Shane has now gotten by Gavin as Gavin and Eric are pitting. So pit stops have begun here at Phoenix.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think Matt Green pit. He's unfortunately 2 laps down, so I'm not really sure what happened there. If he was already running towards the rear of the field, started 23rd, so I think he just got caught out by that. John Berry's still trying to make up his ground. He's already cleared Fosna, but this is really just hurting Heller, who, remember, was involved in that first accident, went a lap down repairing damage, and now he's kind of stuck in a situation where with these green flag pit stops, I'm not sure how he crawls back from this at this point, unless it cycles all the way back out and these guys aren't going laps down. But, you know, with Rod being a lap down and Matt Durr being a lap down by default, Heller's got some work to do.
Speaking of Matt Durr, he just slowed way down in turn 3 and 4 to let Madalinas and Zach Henry go by to not give them any trouble. His Dark Horse teammates have now pitted in Aiden DuPont and Shane Neiswanger and his father, Robin Durr, with a little better trucks here as pit stops continue here in Phoenix.
Interesting strategy. TCB pits, teammate Radman stays out. I wonder if some of these guys are going to try to stretch this fuel.
The leader is coming. The leader's in. Nathan Jump has pitted this time. Hunter Madalinas following him. Zach Henry stays on the racetrack trying to run it a little long, just like you were saying.
Yeah, I got to wonder if a few guys are going to try that because, you know, that caution came out right on lap 1 or 2, so they're going to be able to save at least a couple laps from that. And if they can go to lap 50 here, they may be able to just continue stretching it and, you know, try to mitigate how many tire sets they use because they've only got 3 of them. So you want to try to make this a 2-stop race as much as you can, but it doesn't look like anyone's really able to do that. Ratman actually still stays out, and Zach is still out there, so they can at least make it to lap 50. If they can stretch it any further, they might have a chance at making this a 2-stop race.
Zach Radman and Ashton Lawson have all stayed out on the racetrack trying to stretch it. We'll see if anybody else can stay with them, as it looks like Brent Kincott as well has, well, Brent was caught up in that earlier accident, so we know he can go at least 2 laps longer than anybody else on the track.
Zach has
But
hit
those
pit road
top
now.
3, and they are now all 3 of them pitting here at on lap 50, looking to make this a 2-stop race. They are right on the money. As we have a caution on the racetrack, Robin Durr has spun off of 2. Looks like he nosed it right into the wall. It doesn't appear to be a whole lot of damage to that truck. We'll have to see if he's got any engine damage with nosing it in there. Those cold tires are just, they're catching people off guard. Like I said, turn 2, when you're putting the power down, it's easy to spin it off of there as Robin Durr goes into the inside wall.
Brent Kincott, Louis Woodall. They're both on the lead lap. I believe Jump stayed on the lead lap. I think Madalena stayed on the lead lap. It's going to be very interesting to see how this works out. Scoring-wise, it looks like Austin Moore would get the lucky dog. Very interested to see how this is going to work out. We're going to have to wait and see how iRacing deliberates this. Brent actually just pit right there. He couldn't go any further, so that's going to mess up scoring a bunch too. I don't think a lot of these guys are going to be as unfortunate as they think they are right now with how many of them are a lap down. Although Lewis Woodall is able to stay on track currently.
Louis been known to stay out on track a little bit in some odd situations here and throw off some scoring, willing to throw a wrench into everybody's plans. We'll have to see if he pits right here, as we've got a replay coming up, as it looks like the 10. Oh, was contact involved in this?
It looked like him and Madalena just got together really tight, and Robin went to get back on the throttle, and it just kind of spun on him out of that corner again. Fresh tires and everything like that. Madalena's definitely didn't do him any favors, but that to me just kind of looks like it just kind of came out from under him right there.
With that contact to the side there, might have rattled Robin there, and maybe tried to put the power down a little bit harder than what he was used to. An unfortunate happenings for Robin Durr here. He was running so strong up there in the right at the fringe of the 10th, 11th, 12th range, putting in a good fight. So we'll have to see how he can claw back into this one.
Kind of confused by this. I don't know who got the wave around, because Austin Moore just came down pit road again there when he didn't really need to. And he was the first truck a lap down. Lewis Woodall has pitted. It looks like McConville got the wave, or got the free pass, and then Jared Darling and all these guys are going to get the wave around. But I'm really confused by Austin Moore pitting there.
I think everybody's confused by all the lap downs and wave arounds and lucky dogs. It looks like we're going to have to extend the caution here to get it all sorted out, so timing and scoring can catch up, and iRacing can tell us who belongs where. As John Barry comes back down pit road, might be just coming to top off. Not sure what position he pitted from. He pitted from the 10th position, that is. So maybe a little strategy play more from John Barry.
I mean, it makes sense. Again, they're on that lap 53. If he can try to stretch this to a 47, 48 lap run, and it goes green like it did. I mean, we nearly got through that whole sequence under green. Kind of shocking. But if it does that again, it makes sense to sit here and pit, because then he can stretch that. The question is, can he stretch the last run from, let's say, lap 101 to lap 150? That's going to be the question mark. So he's going to have to save a bit this run and see what he can do. But if he can make it, your next window is going to be about lap 102 to 104. I'd say 103 to 107. You're pretty safe from there. So that's what he's trying to do, is get to that lap 103, 104 mark.
All the wave arounds have been taken this time. You saw about half the field was a lap down. They'll be able to catch back up here, as it looks like we're going to have 22 cars on the lead lap here, coming back to green next time. Zach Henry and Malad Radman will have the lead there on the restart. Nathan Jump, just the way Jump didn't do anything wrong. He just got caught out by the by the cautions and how everybody pitted. He's lost the lead. We'll have to see if he can regain it back here, wrestle it away from Zach Henry.
Yeah, some key notes here. Tyler McClellan, Brent Kingcott, Nicholas Caressel, Louis Woodall all gained a lot of time through that sequence. And John Barry actually made a very smart call there by pitting. He's only going to realign in 10th, and he's got the most fuel. So very smart.
Oh, with all those wave rounds, he's put himself in a good spot, looking to stretch this race as far as he can go. Remember that caution happened right at lap 50, so we're gonna have to see how these guys can stretch it. John Barry looking to be the best, the best guy with with all the fuel there later on in the race. The leaders are back in 3. Pace car's already back on pit road. Zach Henry's going to have control of the race, and he's picked the outside lane, looking to get a big launch here as we're back to green in Phoenix.
We are going to have a battle for the lucky dog here. Austin Moore, Chris Heller, and Preston Henry all in the same spot under a blanket. Austin, they all started up front here too. Austin's already trying to clear Louis, so we'll have to see how that unfolds as well. Again, really confused by Austin's decision to pit. He would have been part of the wave around group, but he came down pit road. I'm not sure why, and now he's sitting here racing Preston and Heller for that lap back.
Jump has already gotten by Radman as they go through the dog leg, already setting his sights on Zach Henry as they dive off into turn 3. He's not letting Zach get away this time. He's staying right with him, about a car length advantage to Zach Henry going down the back, firing off into turn 3.
Yeah, Radman bows out of the race against Madalinas there and falls back to 4th. The big loser that we don't see up here is Tyrell Baker. TCB is all the way back in 21st. Not sure if he may have topped off fuel, but he was one of the guys that got stuck through that sequence, basically a lap down, had to get the wave around, and he restarted tail end of this field essentially. So we'll have to see what he does to make his way back up towards the front.
Field coming around to complete lap 58 to lap 59 here. A new face in the crowd tonight. Obviously, we mentioned Chris Heller, but Nicholas Caressel joined the league this past week. He's up in the 6th position. We'll always happy to have a new face here in Great Lakes Racing. We'll also have to see how he fares going forward, but always good to add a new face here in the Great Lakes Truck Series.
Yeah, started 29th and just kind of used that whole sequence to his advantage, much like Brent Kingcott, Tyler McClellan, and Lewis Woodall did, to find himself up inside the top 10 and racing right around that top 5.
Big battle here back in the 9th position as Louis Woodall gets into the wall. He's fighting Jared Darling for that 9th position with Spencer Owens and Tyler McClellan side by side right behind. It seems like the front guys like to settle it out and just go racing and keep it clean, while back here in this 10th position, it seems to be the magic number where all the action starts happening. So we'll have to keep an eye on this going forward as Jared is pinned down below and Louis gets around him on the outside.
Yeah, you got to remember too, a lot of these guys around the top 10 now were running back around 15th to 20th, like McClellan, like Woodall. So interested to see how these guys do around guys like Jared Darling that were running up inside the top 5 or top 10 earlier, and see if maybe track position can help them. That is usually the case here. If you can get up front in front of these guys, you can kind of just hold them off and hold your position. But as soon as you start falling backwards, you're just going to kind of be stuck back in that area, as Spencer and McClellan still battling out back here. But you can see right there that TCB making up some ground. Hasn't made up a whole lot of ground as he passes Heller. Again, the lap truck with Cincy right behind him there, but trying to make his way up through here. He's currently being shown in 18th after restarting 21st.
Going to need a big effort from TCB to claw his way back into this one, as we've still got this fight going on for the 10th position when Tyler McClellan and Spencer Owens, they've been side by side for about 5 laps now. Those guys really taking it to each other here about in the midpoints of this race.
Nothing new really changing up front. It looks like Radman really has A fast short run truck. Madalenas has kind of faltered back. He's about 8/10 off the lead. Jump can't really do anything with Zach currently. So again, I was talking about that clean air. It looks like Zach's using that to his advantage and driving away a bit here. As Jump can't really catch him, and Madalena's actually lost a 1/2 there as well.
So what's the difference, Elliot, between having that clean air out in that first position and the so-called dirty air in the second position? Is it really that much of a difference? What happens to the truck to cause it to make it difficult on these guys to navigate these turns?
Really just helping you rotate the truck more. You get more air on your hood, you get more downforce, so you can make it through the corner at a little bit higher rate of speed. You'll see Jump up here may have to, run a different lane than what Zach's doing, run a little bit lower, run a little bit higher, try to get air to his truck. He's far enough back that it shouldn't be affecting him that much. I'd say, where Madalenas is probably the killer point, or where Radman is to Madalenas, but ultimately you just want to make sure that you're getting enough air on the front of your truck that you're able to rotate it, and it's not, it's not being held up at all through the middle of the corner.
Smart arrow moves being played by Zach Henry. If he can hold on to this lead here and really stick it to Nathan Jump and wear his tires out, having to make him saw on that wheel a little bit harder. As McClellan and Owens are still side by side back here in the for the 10th position. This battle has not stopped. They're like two dogs going after a chew toy. They are not letting it go, as it's really started to hinder both of them, as the one of Jared Darling starting to scamper away a little bit, and the other cars behind him, Jackson Sims in the 6, Eric Kepf in the 63, they're starting to close in on this battle here. We'll have to see how long this goes, and how much these guys want to fight for that number 10 spot.
Yeah, these guys battled before this run too, in the beginning of their other run, and that's ultimately what led Tyler falling back. He caught the wall a couple times just trying to stay ahead of Spencer, and couldn't really keep the spot. But they found themselves again here, and they are just side by side, lap after lap. And Spencer's, someone just got the wall back there.
Michael Senzi in the 37 smacked the wall coming out of turn number 2. And it looks like, heavy damage to the right side of that truck. That's going to affect the handling of it. See a big old scrape right there on the 3 of the 37 as well. Let's see if he pulls it down into the pit lane this time.
Yeah, it looked like he just kind of got next to Gavin, got a little loose out of it. He is going to pit here. And the truck just kind of snapped when he came off the corner and just hit that outside wall really hard. So unfortunate start to his season. He was wrecked at Daytona, and now he starts here tonight and going to drop probably back towards the end of this field. Alex Fetter's 29th, 6 laps down, but still in the race. So depending on how much damage since he has, could be looking at a night ender right there.
Big damage for Senzi, and hard racing back in the pack at this one, as Zach Henry continues to lead through 72 laps here, and he's really starting to put the gap on Nathan Jump. It's kind of like how we saw Jump do on that first run before the caution. It really helps to have that clean air out here, as Zach's almost put a second, going on a second and a half on Nathan Jump.
We just had some major contact back towards the rear. TCB and Preston Henry collected each other off of turn 2 right there. We could potentially find a replay of that. TCB still struggling to try to gain spots back. Preston still racing Austin Moore to try to get that lead lap back, but has kind of fallen out of that battle recently and just made contact with TCB as we're pulling up replay here for you.
See, he's in a gaggle there with Aiden DuPont and Preston Henry there, and just straight up contact. Both of them go into their respective inside and outside walls. Damage to the outside of the truck versus damage to the inside of the truck is one more, we'll say, hindering than the other.
Oh, TCB's wrecking now.
Oh, we've got a caution on the racetrack as TCB goes around.
And looked like the similar deal. They just both went into the corner. TCB didn't give him a whole lot of room to the outside, and Preston just kind of got pinched on the outside wall, and TCB got spun off his nose. We'll bring up the replay, but that's going to put Austin Moore back on the lead lap. And TCB's truck doesn't look too bad, but
Light contact there. Well, not really light contact. He did get turned around, but not a real pancaking that you see at the higher speed tracks. Shouldn't affect him too much, but we'll have to see how that hurts him going forward as we've got a replay coming up.
so we're halfway through this, and this caution is a big question mark. They have 3 sets of tires. They've already taken one. Do they take a set here, or do they try to save it for later in the race? We're gonna have to see what strategies happen. You can see right there, TCB kind of pinching Preston Henry to the outside. TCB's been running that outside lane through there, and I guess he kind of wanted it and forced Preston up there. Maybe he was frustrated by the initial contact a couple laps ago, and um, there it was. Here it is from his cockpit. Maybe he just got in there a little bit too hot. Didn't really expect to be in there that hot, but it looks like these guys are all taking tires, so that's just going to leave them the last set with their last pit stop. And Madalenas just drove off pit road, and Zach Henry may have sped.
Oh, big implications here if Zach Henry's got a penalty coming up.
Yeah, Zach Henry was 59 miles an hour at the line there, and
Pace speed here is 55, if I'm not mistaken. And we don't have the 5-mile-an-hour grace that the grace area that NASCAR has. These guys, if you're 56, you're getting busted. It's 55 or nothing.
actually looking back at it, pit speed was actually 55. It looks like he got to 59 after they cleared the speed line, but it looked like he hit 46 just long enough to speed. I don't know about that one.
Brent Kingcott is staying out. Whether that's to lead a lap or to assume the lead of this race, he has stayed out on 26 lap old tires where everyone else behind him has taken 4, except for the 13 of Louis Woodall, who's going to line up next to him. Louis only took 2. I believe right sides on that was the call for him. We'll have to see how these guys can handle holding off these 4 fresh tires. 2 tires, not as much of an advantage as you'd think in real life and versus in iRacing. I predict Louis is going to get swallowed up here almost, if not quicker than Brent on this initial restart. Elliot, thoughts?
Well, I'd actually like to point out if Louis took 2 and Brent's the one that took none and stayed out, I think Brent actually made the right decision on this caution, knowing that we have potentially tire sets later. Again, so all these guys have now used 2 sets minus Brent and Louis. Louis used one of his sets though for the right hand side, so he doesn't really have a luxury later on to use another set. He's kind of in his bed. So when these guys make their next pit stop, they're all going to have to use their last set. Brent will have a set left over. So Brent's not looking to hold anybody off here, and he has the fuel to go to lap 100. So ultimately, Brent's going to probably pit at 100, split this one up, and then just run the rest of that race. But it'll be very interesting to see if he can't go much further than that. That's my question mark. I think he should have at least come in and gotten fuel so he can go as far as these guys on fuel, but still have that extra set of tires.
It might be looking to capitalize on that clean air. It might help him a lot more than if he was back in the pack where he was running. I believe it was around the 8th, 7th position, something like that. So we'll have to see how he fares on these older tires as they come through the Geico restart zone here. The green flag is out. Brent is off. Louis gets caught sleeping as Hunter Madalenas is going to clear him before he even gets there. Nathan Jump was really a victim there of Louis being asleep at the wheel. He's all the way back to the 8th position.
And we got a spinner, Aiden DuPont, spinning off the corner. Looks like it's just Aiden, though.
Solo spin here. Now, is that going to help Brent's case, or is that just going to, because he's staying out, just trying to stretch this as long as he can go, or is this going to hurt him?
I don't think it really affects him at all. I think, if anything, the more laps he can sit there, he's fine. Now he can save some fuel as well. So I think that's beneficial to him. I think it helps Louis more than anybody. And really what happened with Jump was I think he just ran in the back of Louis. You expect him to go. Louis didn't go, and Jump just lifted a ton, and it just kind of restacked him. Look at TCB all the way down on the apron here in the replay, and
Using
there's
every little bit of that, and now
clouds.
suddenly he's looking at the left side of Aiden DuPont. An unfortunate scene here, as I didn't see contact between the two of them. I'm not really sure if it was just a solo spin or not from Aiden. We'll have to see. He was in the.
And Jump's actually saying he missed a gear there, so it was nothing to do with Louis. It was just the fact that he had a jump and then he didn't go. So must have missed the second to third gear shift or third to fourth. So it is just Aiden that was in there. Somehow TCB avoided that, and a couple other guys, I believe that was Austin Moore, narrowly avoided it. So
very, very impressive of him to keep it off the wall too. That's a narrow part there with the walls coming together. With Nathan Jump being so far back in this field now, I'm interested to see how he's going to fare with that dirty air. Now, see if he can claw back up. I believe he's got the speed to get back up there, but it's going to be a matter of if Hunter Madalinas can run away with this thing, how far out in front he can get before Jump gets back up there, or if Malad's showing speed early in that top 3, top 4 there. So we'll have to see how that will unfold after this, when the green flag flies again.
question mark is what lane Madalena is going to choose. If he picks the outside, I guarantee he's just straight up gone with how hard it is to restart on the inside here. But he doesn't really want to give Malad a chance to just drive around these guys either. So he might want to elect to pick the bottom and kind of stack Malad behind Brent and Lewis here. But we'll have to see how that sorts itself out. I'm really just impressed with Spencer Owens. Still sitting here in 6th despite everything. Started 27th and has a solid shot at putting himself in the top 5 here, knowing that 2 guys in front of him are either on old tires or on half fresh tires. So yeah, the last couple cautions have really shook this up, with Jump being cycled out, with TCB still being at the back now, and now Zach with the speeding penalty. It's Madalenas' race. Malad's fast, but you gotta see how he is over these runs. He's really fast on the short run, but he lost a ton of ground over the long run early on. So we'll have to see how that sorts out for him.
Big shakeups here happening with all these cautions. Jump's all the way back in the 9th position. Zach back in the 17th. So like you said, it is Madalenas' race at this point. I believe the only one who's got the speed to try and challenge him would be Radman or Ashton Lawson, if he can get up there ahead of these 2 guys who've stayed out with 2 tires here with Brent and Louis.
Chris Heller's hit pit road a couple times back here. I guess he's just getting fuel and resorting his strategy, but he is now back on the lead lap as well. Him and Austin Moore, he got the wave around that last time by. So Heller lines up last truck on the lead lap, 23 trucks on the lead lap. Pace truck is in, and we're going green this time. Madalenas picks the bottom.
Very interesting call from Madalenas. Like you said, you can fire off better on the top side, but he elects to pin Radman up there to try and give himself a bigger gap. So we'll have to see how he launches as the field comes through turn 3, heading to the Geico restart zone. It's Madalenas' race, and he is gone. Green flag is out, and those new tires are showing their difference. Look at that. Already a 5-car length lead, as he's not even to turn 1 yet.
I just think it's so hard to restart here if you're not the leader. I mean, you could see, oh, they're stacking up behind them.
TCB is around. Caution is out. Big hits, heavy hits in the back, and that's a lot of names that are going to have a lot of damage with them. As we're still turning up here in the front. Carnage happening all the way around the track.
Brent's upset as well. I think he got turned.
He got put 3 wide off of 3 and got ping-ponged in between Lawson and Radman and just sent into the outside wall. And that's what happened to cause that carnage up at the front of the pack. While at the back of the pack, TCB got turned off of the nose of Tyler McClellan. I think he checked up, and Tyler was right behind him, had nowhere to go.
And Jump was in that as well. Heavy damage to the front end of his truck. McClellan just kind of got run over after the fact.
Replay for you. They're all the way up at the wall there. That looks like the 81 of Mike McConville was up there, and TCB was trying to race him hard and just two cars coming together. It's not much more of a call than that. We're all packed together in these tight turns. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, we can see the replay again here. That's the front of the field where Brent and Radman and Ashton all kind of get tied together, and you can see Jump getting damaged, Jared Darling, Eric Kev, Gavin Fitzgerald all cycling through there. Behind them, Tyler got run over by McConville as he was trying to slow up for the accident that was in front of him after being involved in the one that was behind him. So Tyler got a bit of a double whammy there after getting, I don't know exactly if he got pushed into this incident. Oh, yeah, it just looks like, yeah, TCB and McConville make contact, and then Tyler runs into TCB, turns him, and then here's Tyler trying to check up for the accident ahead, and McConville from behind. And Tyler gets put on the inside wall pretty hard. That crash test dummy helmet doing some work tonight.
Really unfortunate for him. He was having such a good run, got shuffled to the back of that pack there with all the pit stops and everything. He was up in that 10th place area group like we were talking earlier. I think at this point, after that one, Hunter Madalinas and Louis Woodall are the only ones with the clean trucks here out of this field of 29. Everybody else has got to have some kind of bumps and scrapes as all of this has unfolded here. We're at lap 87 out of 150.
And you got to see Gavin doing some good driving there to avoid that. Almost running into his teammate Eric Kepf there. I think Eric got out of it with minimal to no damage on the bottom, luckily.
See if anyone comes around for pit stops this time. No, they will not. Brent staying out, trying to stretch that fuel as long as he can. He's on lap 36, where fuel runs are 44 to 48 green flag laps. So he's got another 10, 15 laps in the tank. We'll see how long he can stretch it and keep on trucking here. He's still in the third position with all this carnage happening. He hasn't even had the opportunity to drop back in the pack. We'll see if that damage there on the side is going to affect him when we get back to racing here.
Yeah, I still just question where he is on fuel. He definitely needed to come in and align himself with these guys. Imagine if he had that full tank of fuel, he'd be sitting third with old tires with an extra set, but he'd be able to run as long as these guys on fuel if he needed to, or he'd at least be able to make it to that 103, 104 mark and pit in another 10, 15 laps. But, man, he's on a great strategy. It just depends if he can at least make it to start that next stint. Pace truck's in. We're going to get ready to get rolling again here after all that carnage. Madalinas resets back to where he is and puts Radman back on that outside lane. Hopefully he can get another good jump like he did last time.
The field's doubled up. We're heading down into turn 3. Madalinas has got the inside. Louis to his outside. Behind him, Brent Kingcott, Malad, Radman, Nathan Jump as your top 5. And we're going to see Madalinas probably get an equal to, if not better, start than what he got last time. He fires away. And already, like I said, 4-5 car lengths there as they're side by side for second and third. Jump down to the inside. He's going to make it 3 wide, trying to just kill 2 birds with 1 stone here. Down into turn 1. It looks like he's going to get there.
Radman really aggressive up the middle as well, trying to clear Spencer, Brent, and Louis. He gets all 3 of them. Looks to the outside of Jump here. Jump made a weird evasive maneuver, but I think that's mainly because he knows he doesn't have the engine power in him. Remember, he has a lot of front-end damage. He might be down a little bit of RPM. You can see Radman easily gets to the outside of him. I think Jump's going to suffer down these straightaways.
Hard racing here for second place as Hunter Madalinas scampers away. He's got 5, 6, 7 car length on these two. Now as Louis Woodall's in the wall, down on the backstretch. Big hit from him coming off of turn 2. Those old right side tires might be hurt, or old left side might be hurting him a little bit there.
They're all making it work. This battle for second still rages on. Jump may have a little bit of, maybe lacking some top end speed, but he can definitely get through the middle of the corners. I'll tell you what this has done, though, as Brent starts to fall back. Zach Henry's back in this mix. Jackson Sims and Jared Darling have found their way up here. And Spencer Owens from absolutely nowhere, 27th on the grid, was running about 10th to 15th most of this race, has found his way up near a podium spot if he can get to the outside of Jump. Jump definitely hurting from that damage.
And Spencer took damage from Brent. Spencer was the one who Brent ping ponged back to the outside to in that last wreck. I know Spencer's got damage on that left front. Interesting to see that he's still maintaining speed, if not faster than some of these guys up here, as Hunter Madalena still leads off of 4 for coming to lap 93 this time.
Yeah, the other question mark here is when Brent pits, because again, he and Louis are the ones on those differing strategies. Louis at least has the fuel to go as far as any of these other guys can, but we'll have to see when Brent ultimately decides to come down pit road. If he can't make it to 103, his strategy is completely wasted. He really needs to try to make that work. I'm more just surprised that he's still in the top 10 here while he's just faltered outside of top 10 and 11th. On these old tires with this fuel.
Nathan Jump is holding up Spencer Owens, Jared Darling, and here comes Zach Henry battling side by side with Jackson Sims. They are all over the back of him. Jump's holding that bottom lane so that nobody can get underneath him. If Spencer can get up beside him, I'll be interested to see how Spencer gets around him, but Nathan Jump definitely suffering as Malad shoots away from him. He's got 5 car lengths on him. And with a lot less damage than Jump does with that big old scar down the left-hand side, Spencer Owens looking to capitalize here on that 3rd place running position.
I was going to say they really need to try to get to his outside and then just beat him down the straightaway. It doesn't look like Jump is suffering as much to anybody back here. You could see an obvious difference when he was next to Radman, but as he's dropped back here, it doesn't look like Spencer really has the pace. So just that general pace that Jump had earlier, we'll have to see if Zach can get up there and kind of just clear him nice and easy too, because now Zach right on the back of Jared Darling.
Spencer had an early break in there, trying to get a little extra early rotation to try and do something to get to Nathan Jump's either side or inside or outside. Nathan Jump holding him up with you think a little bit used to that dirty air. As Jared Darling had a little issue there, got on the radio racing Zach Henry a little bit, or did he just let him go?
I think that was you go ahead. You've been ahead of me all race. I'll let you go sort that out, and maybe I can follow you through. He didn't say anything. He just mic'd up to give him the inside there. A quick note, remember we were talking about John Barry, Austin Moore, and these guys. They're all back here racing for about that 10th spot. John Barry has kind of reset his strategy and is still right here around 10th as Brent Kincott and Austin Moore nearly make some contact. But Austin has reset from 30th up to now 12th, 11th. This will put him 10th across the line ahead of Brent. Brent just trying to hold on for dear life with those tires. And then you've got Ashton Lawson back here in this mix too. Remember, he was about up in the top 5 earlier, just trying to work his way back up through this.
4 wide they fan across as they go through the dogleg. Then they sort it back out to 2 wide here as Brent is definitely holding this group up. You know they're going to be looking to get around him as fast as they can, as John Barry had a little bit of a moment there getting sideways off of 2. Brent's not running everyone else's race. He's on his own strategy now. As they're 3 wide off of turn 4 behind him. That was a beautiful sight there coming across the line. That'll be an awesome screenshot for later on in the race. Contact there. Ashton gets in the side of John Barry. Hard racing here back in the 13th, 14th, 15th place position as Brent goes into the wall and Gavin gets by him here.
Spencer's got on the inside of Jump, and Zach Henry's right there with Jared Darling in tow. Jackson Sims not far behind, but Spencer can't make this pass work. I really thought Jump would be suffering in overall speed down the straightaways, but it looks like his truck's manageable. It's just not as good as what it was and as good as Madalena's and Radman are, but it's good enough to run back here about 4th, 5th, and 6th, which is where the split was earlier. The top 3, again, were in kind of a group of their own, so this kind of just puts him right behind them and kind of moves Radman into the flow from where he was running, as now Spencer looks like he's just going to concede the spot here. He just can't make that bottom lane work as well as these guys are running the top.
Jump utilizing that momentum to keep Spencer pinned down there as now Zach Henry goes by as Spencer got pinned down there. So we'll see if Zach Henry with his one of the cleanest trucks on track. Well, that's no surprise for Zach Henry. We'll have to see how he can fare as he takes the fight to Nathan Jump for that 3rd position.
King Cot's still racing really aggressive back towards that 15th place, just trying to manage the spot he's in. He's got to make it a couple more laps before he can pit and put himself in this window. He just slammed the door on John Barry, and now he's trying to make sure James Shiflett stays back there. So keeping an eye on that while we keep an eye on the top 5 here, as Jared Darling now making the run around Spencer Owens and sending Spencer back another spot back to 8th.
You said 103 was the magic lap. We are now on 104 for Brent Kingcott. So stretching it as far as he can. This is a 53 lap run for him. Long time out there on those tires and on that fuel tank. We'll have to look for him to be coming to pit road at any time now. As we've got a wreck, Mike McConville gets turned in the outside wall by James Shiflett coming out of 2. Pits have opened. Pits have opened, and everybody is on pit road as the field takes it to pit lane. Big break there for the rest of the field. As we're all gonna get set back on equal footing, and it's gonna be a 45 lap shootout to the end. I think we're not gonna have any. There's no fuel strategy left. This is a clean slate for everyone. So Brent had a good strategy going there. Unfortunately, that wreck's going to throw a big old wrench in it, and it's wiped away.
I don't think it wipes anything away. Remember, he's got a tire set. No one else will. He's the only one with that set of tires. The negative impact of this is the fact that if he does take those tires, he'll line up 23rd. But if they can go a solid 15, 20 laps here and he can take those tires, watch him try to march his way up through this field.
This is why you're the analyst and the strategy guy. I miscalled that completely. Big moves here for Brent Kingcott. Look for him to take advantage of a later on caution as we're getting into the back half of this race, where I'm predicting that just like Daytona, those cautions are going to come more and more frequent, getting closer to the end of this event. So Brent really setting himself up for success here as we advance later on into the night. And he's going to come out in the 16th position, if I'm not mistaken. So he's not even that far back. He's only going to have to go through half the field here, but that's all going to require another caution here to get him that advantage. In the meantime, though, Nathan Jump is back in the 6th position as actually the on-track order has confused me.
It's all aligned. Madalinas, Radman, Henry, Darling, Owens, Jump, Niswanger, Sims, Kep, Austin, Moyer, top 10. That's all accurate after leaving pit road. King Cott's fallen to 14th. Again, he's got the fresh tires now. He still has a set. He's the only one with a set, but if he takes them, he'll have to drop all the way back to about 20th and have to drive his way back up to the field. So he's the only one left that has an interesting call to make, depending on if we get under caution at some point. But it's basically going to come down to Madelinas, Radman, Henry, and Darling here, I believe. I don't know that Spencer and Jump have the pace that those guys have.
Speaking of Zach Henry, he has rebounded pretty much perfectly to that 3rd running position after that speeding penalty early on in this event. Great to see him back up there. He's going to be another big name to watch as the field doubles up, and Madalinas chooses the outside lane now with Malad to his inside here, coming to the 1 to go.
Yeah, like I was saying earlier, I think that outside lane is probably where you want to be, and he wants to hold Zach up as well and try to get Jared in front of these guys and give himself a little bit more room. I'm really watching the 6 and a 91 here too, because they're going to have to start behind Jump, and we're going to have to see how well he can get up through the gears. Jackson and Moore have been on the move moving forward, and you just wonder if Jump will be able to get up through the gears for them.
I'd be very interested to see, because he's got his buddy Spencer Owens, who he's been fighting for the last umpteen laps there right beside him. As the green flag is out, Madalinas fires away, and Jared Darling gets up alongside Malad, doesn't elect to take that to take the dog leg there. gives Zach Henry an opening. They're going to go 3 wide into turn 1. Malad fires it down in there and comes back up, puts a little slide job on Zach Henry, who stacks it up to Nathan Jump. As we've got a spinner in the back, it's Brent Kingcott.
Yeah, Brent made a lot of contact with TCB. I believe he got into someone else in the outside lane. That's going to ultimately kill anything that he had going on with his strategy. Tires won't matter anymore if the truck is killed.
An unfortunate proceeding for Brent Kingcott here as the laps wind down. 40 to go in this one. I think it's just another cold tire there off of 2. It's so easy to just get back on the gas there and you spin it out. Yep, solo spin there as he gets hard contact there from, who was that on the inside there, and then bounces back up into the 45 of Nicholas Caressel. So unfortunate damage to Brent tonight. We'll have to see how he can soldier on.
And James Shiflett was also involved in that, but I believe that was Heller that was actually the driver that ran into Brent in the outside lane. I couldn't quite tell, but it looked like Heller.
Well, Heller cannot just catch a break tonight. He has had just about everything go wrong for him that can happen here in his return to Great Lakes Racing. An unfortunate night for him.
And the hits just kept coming for Brent there after he got turned once, and I mean, probably got hit about 4 or 5 times there before it was all said and done. I believe, yeah, Heller was the one with the damage. He's still sitting here on pit road taking some repairs. He had just worked his way up to right outside the top 10, probably had a nice clean run going, and fortunately for him, it's going to be a reset.
I'd like to say that I believe that I called that caution for the record. As we wind down here, the caution laps come harder and they come faster. It's going to get crazy here as the laps wind down in Phoenix tonight. Hunter Madalinas is your leader. Malad Radman second. Zach Henry third. Spencer Owens has finally gotten around Nathan Jump. He is fourth. Jared Darling rounds out your top 5. Robin Durr is going to get the wave around this time. I believe Preston Henry was involved, must have been involved in that wreck or something, because Robin Durr 2 laps down, now 1 lap the beneficiary of your lucky dog.
Yeah, that was a lot happening right there, but to reset the field here, you've got Madalinas in the lead, Radman still up in second, Zach Henry in P3, Spencer Owens will line up 4th, Jared Darling dropped to 5th, and then you've got Nathan Jump, Shane Nicewanger, Jackson Sims, Eric Kepf, and Austin Moore to round out your top 10. No real change there, just a couple spots cycling around, but it does matter because these guys that get sent to the outside typically don't get as good a start as the guys on the inside, so it'll be interesting to see how they handle that going into turn 1, and if they try to get to the outside, because that was a big thing last time, was just watching the shuffle of basically Zach, Spencer, and Jared all trying to, cram into that outside lane and try to get to Radman, but they didn't really know where they wanted to be.
Big hard racing going on here, and I think you're just going to see more and more of it as these restarts continue. Spencer now at the back of Madalinas as they double file up down into turn 1, so we'll have to see if he can stay with Hunter on this restart now. Hunter's just been firing away at the tonight with these restarts.
Yeah, pace truck pulls in. We're going to come to the green flag with about 35 laps to go here to start lap 114.
The pace car is off. Hunter Madalinas leads him into 3. Coming to the Geico restart zone. Maladu is inside. They're in the restart zone. Green flag is out. Hunter fires away. And Spencer's might get to the outside. Is he going to leave the door open again for Zach? Zach doesn't take it. Oh, there he's staying on Radman. Looks to the inside this time. Not going to get as good of an entry. Kind of falls back a little bit, trying to rotate that exit as he comes out side by side with Spencer Owens as the field rockets into turn 3.
Yeah, we had more guys almost spinning back towards the back, but they all cycled through. I think Radman went in there a little harder than he wanted. Madalinas catches the wall a little bit. That's going to give Radman the opportunity. He's just going to push him. I think he wanted the inside or the outside. He didn't know where to go. Madalina's going to hold that top. Radman is just really able to run the bottom, and they're side by side for the lead now.
In the back,
Austin Moore.
off of turn 3, it's Austin Moore's in the back. Heavy contact with the 95 of Tyler McClellan. That's 2 E95 teammates with unfortunate damage here. Both of them were having good nights early on in the event. They were trying to fight their way back up, and it's just too much too soon for the both of them.
Yeah, it looks like Shane just kind of got into him lightly, and there was really nowhere for a lot of those guys to go. But just kind of looks like that corner strikes again where these guys are all trying to get to the top lane, and it doesn't work out.
Big stack up there as Austin got loose, almost had it saved. And wow, Gavin Fitzgerald did an excellent job with the brakes. Unfortunately, he was smack in the middle of the racetrack. Tyler McClellan had no idea what was happening up in front of him. Shoots around the outside to try and avoid Gavin, and there's a sideways Austin Moore sitting right smack in the middle of the racetrack. Unfortunate damage to both of their trucks. I think that's going to end Tyler McClellan's night.
So through that, Radman actually got the lead. He's the only one that can really rotate 1 and 2 on the bottom that hard. He just got such a huge run because Madalinas caught the wall, and it didn't look like he was going to make anything of it. But as they went in the middle of the corner, Madalinas just didn't get into one, and Radman just really circled through and made it rotate down on the bottom. Since he's going to get a lap back here, currently 5 laps down, and now Radman is up to the lead. There's a retake on that.
Caught that wall there off of 2, driving it so hard, trying to get the run off the corner. And then Radman fires it down in. You can see him just power move Madalinas to get that, to take the lead right before this wreck happened. So a new changing of the guard up at the front. Move Milad Radman to the number 1 spot. We'll see how he can take advantage of this next restart coming up here.
Now, remember, I was told by Radman that this wasn't going to be a good track for him, and he wanted TCB to carry the team, and TCB has been all around the track tonight, usually not in the better spot, but now he's having to carry the team and doing a pretty good job of it. But he's got 2 very fast guys, and definitely don't discount Jared Darling. Remember, he led 115 laps en route to a win the last time we were here. Of course, he started from pole, so he knows how good that clean air can be. He just needs to get back up there, currently back in 5th.
Big moves on track here. Spencer Owens being your biggest one, starting in the 27th position. He's now all the way up to 4th. Like we said, that pack in the back, he seems to be the best of them. Big effort from him tonight. It's real. I'm at a loss for words of how he's able to drive through the field and to come from all the way back in the back there, especially next to his buddy Zach Henry, who's also come from the back of the pack in less time with that speeding penalty of his. Big efforts tonight from the both of them.
Yeah, we had a bunch of guys that were doing that. Shane Nicewanger is still up here in the top 10 from 21st. Matt Green from 23rd to 11th. Austin Moore was 30th up to 10th before that incident. So a lot of guys able to just kind of avoid the carnage and, keep their truck nice and clean. But eventually it seems to bite you, at least in Austin Moore's case. We'll have to see how Shane and these other guys fare now that they're up here. I think Spencer's in probably the best spot, though, being in 4th. If he can just keep it clean, but you never know what those 3 guys are going to do in front of you. You might end up 3 wide going into turn 1 again.
The pace car dives down onto pit road as they make the long trek down what is now the back straightaway. Used to be the front stretch here in the old configuration of this track, but NASCAR with the update here, and I'd say we like it a little bit more. The start-finish line down off of what is now turn 4, used to be turn 2. You get a lot more action down here. They like to really throw the cars in here. As they're in the restart zone, Milad Radman takes off. Doesn't get near as good of a jump on Madalinas as Madalinas was on him early on. Madalinas is still down there to his inside with that dogleg move. They're side by side going into 1.
Yeah, you got to watch. This is where it gets tight. They're right next to each other. Madalena still has the bottom. He's going to have the preferred lane in this corner. He didn't have it in the last one now. Usually that top gives you a better run. Let's see what they do here. Still side by side. Madalenas drives it in hard. Bradman going to hold his outside. And it looks like Milan's going to be able to hold that line and take it going down this front stretch and back into turn one here.
Radman clears Madalenas going into one. He's going to have the preferred lane on that outside to kind of pinch Madalenas down as he looks low here. Madalenas right on his quarter panel. Malad Radman gets that bigger run as Hunter's still looking to the inside. Radman gives him the benefit of the doubt there with the outside lane, gives him a little lane, but Radman still able to clear him with the big run around the outside. Malad Radman still in the point going down into turn one.
Yeah, I think as long as you're on that outside lane, you're in the preferred spot. It just seems to be the lane that can actually get off the corner. It's going to be so hard for Madalenas to make grip and get off the corner better than the guy on the outside. Zach's sitting there just waiting for a mistake, waiting for something to happen. It's kind of hard as a third guy in line to really do anything. It's so difficult to pass here. And I think Madalenas at this point is going to have to wait this out. Remember, Radman doesn't have the long run pace that Zach and Madalenas do. So if Madalenas can pressure him into a mistake here and potentially go around him a little bit later, he'll be all right. But you've also got to wonder if we're going to get a yellow before then with how hard these guys are racing towards the back.
Ooh, we almost had one here. I believe that's Matt Green drifting it off of turn two. Almost a repeat of what just happened to Brent Kincott and Austin Moore, but he manages to save it. A whale of a job to keep it going straight here as Eric Kepf and Ashton Lawson Spectrum teammates side by side with Jared Darling to their outside.
Yeah, Ashton's trying to come back from that initial yellow that cycled the field in a really bad way. He ended up as one of the guys that had to take the wave around with TCB and those other guys, and he's still trying to work it out. Madalenas loose, saves it, yellows out to save him from getting overtaken by Zach.
Alex Fetter is around. No, sorry, that's Robin Durr is around on the back straightaway in the middle of it. Very interesting spot to get put in the middle of it. He must have just bounced down the track. We'll have to take a look, go back and look at a replay to see what happened here. Huge moment at the front of the pack for Madalenas. We were all eyes on that as Robin Durr gets turned around here late in this one, lap 125. Robin Durr back there racing Chris Heller, and they're three wide. Oh, I know exactly what happened there. That was TCB hitting the wall, scaring Chris Heller. You could see the car come back towards Heller, and then Heller makes the move right down into Robin Durr. So an unfortunate event going three wide here as we look back at the moment right when the caution fell coming off of this turn. Madalenas Tokyo drift out here. Really, that was good timing for him. He was about to lose second place to Zach Henry, who was about to set stale on Malad Radman. So big events happening here late at Phoenix on lap 125.
Radman for the second caution in a row, calling for raindrops on track, just trying to get this race done and dusted. I don't think he has the confidence to hold off Zach Henry and Hunter Madalenas, but he's still been doing it. He's been doing it for a few laps now, so he's calling for these raindrops though.
Rain's not in iRacing yet, Malad. You're gonna have to wait a little bit longer for that as the laps wind down here in the desert of all places too. Trying to call for rain with these cactuses, I don't think so. Zach Henry you have to think that he's just salivating to get back to that lead that he had earlier. He has been dogging the front two here in Radman and Madalenas. You know he's going to have to be trying a little bit harder as we're at less than 25 laps to go in this one. Time's winding down and running out for him to get back up into that lead.
Yeah, I think this is kind of falling into Radman's hands too, with how good he was on shorter runs. We're closing in on 20 laps to go here, and the more cautions we get, the better this plays out to the leader to just kind of have that advantage. Madalenas is really going to have to make something happen, or Zach's going to have to make something happen and get to the bottom or get to the top of them and make a mistake or a late decision and just try to make something happen. But right now, it's starting to fall into his hands more and more the later this goes on.
It's never over till it's over, and Zach Henry is using every bit of that. Really good in the late runs here. Look for him to come on strong as the laps wind down. He might not get a chance though. He might have to turn the switch up and go aggressive. Zach, with all these cautions that we've been getting, these short runs have really been hampering his ability to utilize the saving of tires that he's so well known for here.
Yeah, the short runs are going to make it difficult, but Zach's going to be fast regardless, and I don't think anyone really has a chance to save tire at this point. You've got 20 laps left, and it's a short track. Tire's not going to mean as much as it would at Chicago or Charlotte, so we'll have to see how they sort this out. Pace cars in, they're coming down the backstretch, and they'll hit the restart zone here in a second.
Malad Radman leads him in. He's got Hunter Madalinas to his outside. Behind him, Zach Henry, Spencer Owens, Nathan Jump, Jackson Sims is your top 6 as they hit the restart zone. Madalinas tries to time it and just misjudges it, stacks the rest of the field up behind him. Malad shoots off like a cannonball out of a gun. And Zach Henry is able to clear Madalinas going down into 1, but Madalinas going to try and wrap the outside. No. Zach Henry slams the door shut. He's not going to let him. He's got 1 down. Oh, and a little bit of contact there. Big hit. Excellent driving by Zach Henry to keep it going straight as he sets his sights on Radman for that lead.
It's not over yet. Jump's still up here hanging on with that damaged truck. I'm sure he wishes things have worked out differently and that he didn't get cycled back under that one restart that he had that gear issue on, and he could be right in the thick of this. They're still racing very hard at the back. We might not be done with the yellows, but Zach really did just get the restart that he needed to make that work, as you've still got Jump and Spencer racing side by side. Jared Darling to the inside of Jackson Sims back there, and Zach's going to have to do all he can in these last 20 laps to try to make something happen on Radman.
Jackson Sims had a big moment there coming out of 2, almost got into the wall, had to back out of it. That gave Shane Neiswanger the 6th position, quietly having a great night there in the top 10 solidly. After starting way back in the 21st position, he's worked his way up nicely as Zach Henry is closing down on Malad Radman, breathing down his neck as they dive off into 3. He's right to the back bumper, but getting to him was one thing. Passing him is entirely different. As he looks to the inside, thinks better of it, tucks back in line, going back into 1.
The biggest thing that Zach needs to worry about right now is making a move that puts him in a spot that puts Madalinas to his outside or inside as well. He needs to make sure that he's as defensive as he is on attack. So he just needs to be smart. He's right in between these guys, and Madalinas can pounce at any second. Spencer Owens has also cleared Jump, so this could be a 4-truck race before we know it. Closing in on 15 to go.
Those top 3 are walking that tight rope of trying to save tires because they know they've got to contend with Zach Henry there in the 2nd position, trying to save those tires as much as they can while still staying together. That's why they're so packed up like that. None of them wants to give an inch while trying to save at the same time. So nobody making a move just yet as we wind down here at less than 20 to go.
Yeah, I understand Zach's patience, but you also got to be thinking that there might be a yellow at any point here. Adolfo and Gavin are all over each other back there. Or I'm sorry, Aiden DuPont and Gavin are all over each other back there. You never really know what's going to happen. So Zach might be patient right now, but you get to that 10 lap or less window, he's going to have to start making moves and trying to get this pass done, or he might not get another chance on one of these late race restarts if we get one.
Nathan Jump continues to fall through the field. He is now in the clutches of Shane Neiswanger to his outside. Shane trying to wrap the top side to get that top 5 position that he's been hunting for all night. Shane Neiswanger clears Nathan Jump going down into 3, moves Shane to the top 5.
Zach putting the pressure on Radman, nearly got to his rear bumper coming off the corner, almost gave him a little bit of a tap just to say he's there. Couldn't do anything with it. He's going to have to do something coming up on these last few laps, though.
It's a mental game now. Radman knows Zach's there. Can he hold him off? Zach gets a little bit better of a run going down the back straightaways. He's going to close down in on Radman going into 3 and 4. Drifts up. They're both going to stay there. 1 and 2, they're nose to nose as they go down into the dogleg.
Zach is so much better through 3 and 4, but Radman is so much better through 1 and 2. I just don't think Zach is lifting a lot to try to get a big run out of 2, and it's just not really working the way that Radman's able to just run through the corner and be consistent. But then you get into 3 and 4 here, and you can see Zach kind of drives it in a little bit deeper, but he can also get a big run off, and Radman just they're just playing it corner to corner, where Radman's better at one end of the track and Zach's better at the other end.
Hard racing going on as we're at 12 laps to go in this event. The laps are winding down. Zach Henry trying. You see this. You see the truck step out a little bit. You know he's wheeling that thing, trying to catch Radman. But Radman's got that cleaner air, like we mentioned earlier, and that might just be the the ticket there to for him to get his second win of the season in just 2 races. As we've got a caution on the racetrack. Line them back up, re-rack them, re-stack them as the 95 of Tyler McClellan's around right at the line. And I believe that's Rod Fosnaugh in it as well. Man, just an unfortunate night for Tyler McClellan.
And there was that yellow I was referring to. That's where Zach needs to be a little bit more aggressive. He might not get another chance at this if they keep doing this. Now we're within 10 to go. It's gonna get even worse from here on. They're gonna get real aggressive because they know how difficult it is to pass. As we can see, TCB gets into the corner, Rod drives it in the back of him, and then Tyler just drove it into the back of Rod, and they all just kind of collected each other. Michael Sensi missing another one, and wow,
Oh,
I believe
Mike
that was Mike
McConville.
McConville and then Preston Henry right there as well.
Yep, Rod drove it in deep on TCB and then had to stop to get the car to rotate. And Tyler McClellan was carrying so much speed through the middle of that corner, nowhere to go, and unfortunate.
Tell you what, Michael Sensi started this, or was 5 laps down about 15, 20 laps ago. Through all these cautions, he's the only one getting free passes. He's going to be 2 laps down here with a valid shot to potentially get back on the lead lap by the end of this if it continues going this way. Another quick note, Austin Moore's bounced back. He's 15th. Christopher Heller with the bounce back. He is now 12th after everything that's happened to him tonight. John Barry's still right around that 14th position. We talked a little bit about Matt Green. He's back in 17th. And Ashton Lawson, who we haven't talked about, again, still right around that 10th position. So a lot of guys making runs back through here, and as it gets more aggressive towards the end, they could have a pretty strong chance at passing a bunch more trucks with, potential wrecks and different things happening here.
A lot of guys soldiering on in this one as there goes Michael Sensi around the pace truck to get his lap back. That puts him back to 2 down with 3 green white checkers. He's got a solid, like you were saying, he's got a solid shot to get back on the lead lap and then start really picking up positions if he can continue on. That black number 37 truck's got a lot of damage to it, but there's a lot of trucks with a lot of damage in this field, so it ain't over till it's over.
Yeah, it's the same issue he dealt with at Daytona. Just went a bunch of laps down, lost the draft, had damage from a first wreck, and just couldn't really get back into it. Here, same deal. Now just 2 laps down, but now that McClellan's out of the race, Robin Durr's out of the race. He's the only guy a lap down. Brent Kingcott's actually going to pit, get his tires and damage repair here. So there's his strategy. With 10 laps to go, he now has fresh tires. Could drive himself up into about the top 10 or top 15 after how his night's gone. So very interesting to see how that'll work out.
Do you think with the amount of damage that Brent's taken, are those tires, being that we're almost to a full fuel run, everybody's going to be light on fuel with old tires, are those tires going to matter for Brent with as much damage as he's got?
I believe someone's truck just blew up. I thought it was McConville, but someone's blown up. I would like to say that despite his damage, that those tires will still do a lot for Brent from, where he's running. You got to remember that all the trucks he's around are also damaged. So he can easily drive around a few guys and just kind of make up a few spots. And he's already right around 23rd. So he can get up to the top 20 pretty easily there. And again, with how his night's gone, I think, trying to get a top 15 out of it would be a pretty good effort for him at this point.
Brent's strategy from earlier in the race still paying dividends, even though it might not be for the race win. He's got a long way to go to get there and a short time to get there. Look for him to be making moves in the back half of this field. As we are down to 7 to go this time, the field's finally double filed back up as we have received the 1 to go signal. When they come back to the line, it's going to be 6 laps to go here in the desert. pace car dives down onto pit road. Radman leads him down this long back straightaway with the long pit road here. He's got Zach Henry to his outside. Hunter Madalinas breathing down his neck there under pacing. You know he's going to be trying to go as fast as he can. They're going to try and shuffle Zach out here, I think is what's about to happen, as Malad is picking the inside. We'll have to look and see how that affects him going when he gets going here. As they're in the restart zone, the green flag's out. Malad's gone, and Zach Henry and Madalinas are left side by side there. Very interesting to see. Madalinas is on the radio under green here. A lot of multitasking going on. Zach Henry's got that outside lane trying to wrap it around, but it looks like Madalinas is going to clear him coming out of turn 2.
We're talking about lane changes by potentially Shane Neiswanger. Madalinas was all over Zach Henry's door right there. He knew what he needed to do on this restart, and he did it. Zach's going to be the one that now has to play third fiddle behind Radman and Madalinas, and we're just going to have to watch this all work out. Sims is out of control with Eric Keff back there. They're all trying to get through the corner. Bunch of Spectrum drivers just trying to race each other back there with Nathan Jump, Ashton Lawson, Gavin Fitzgerald. They're all over themselves. But this race is still for the win and for the lead. Shane Neiswanger making a pass on Spencer Owens for 4th as Radman still trying to hold on over Madalinas.
Radman leads him down off of the dog leg. Zach Henry's going to have to step on it now. We're getting down to it. Less than 5 laps to go here in Phoenix. Those 3 guys have opened up a little bit of a gap to Neiswanger back there in 4th place. So you know it's just going to be between them if they can keep it green. Radman leads him down off into turn 3. Doesn't get quite down to the yellow line there. Madalinas able to wrap it on the bottom a little bit better than him. We'll have to see how Radman's going to be carrying that speed as we're down to 3 to go in this one.
Zach caught the wall a little bit. Shane catches the wall right there. It just doesn't look like these guys really have the pace to keep up with Radman. Coming to the line for lap 148. We're getting to the end of it.
Who to go this time at the line here? Radman leads him down into turn 1. Does anybody have anything left for him? Zach Henry's going to try and give something to Madalinas. He wants at least that 2nd place spot. Madalinas slams the door slams the door on him, and they're nose to tail going down into. Ooh, get a little punt there going into turn 3. Big shot sends him up the racetrack. They're side by side off of 4.
Yeah, 2 laps to go here, lap 149, and Radman has this handedly because Zach and Madalinas are all over each other. Madalinas doesn't want to let this 2nd place run go as they come off of turn 2. Zach's going to clear him, but Madalinas back to the inside. Zach's loose. Shane runs into the back of him. Shane up into Spencer Owens. They're still trying not to wreck. They're going to keep it going. Jared Darlin passes both of them, and Radman's going to take the white flag here.
White flag out here in Phoenix. 1 lap to go. Radman solidly got this one. If as long as he can keep it clean, this race is his. Huge happenings back there for 2nd place, as they're still going to just be Madalinas in 2nd, Zach Henry in 3rd when it's all said and done. As we've got a spin, Ashton Lawson gathers it back up off of 2, but coming into 3 out of 4, it's going to be Malad Radman taking not 1 but 2 races to start the season. Radman wins it in Phoenix.
Wow. Yeah, Radman just really laid it on him, and I said in that last part of the race, they definitely could have. They couldn't really do anything with the fact that he was the short run truck out there. So really good job by him. Madalinas and Henry just kind of got caught in their own battle, and I don't think Madalinas really had the pace to keep up with Radman at that point, and Henry knew that, so he was just going to focus on Madalinas. But really good run by Jared Darling to make his way up there. Shane still finishing 6th despite everything that happened there. Spencer Owens held on to finish 7th, so really good run there for a few of those guys. But how about Radman back to back on the season?
Radman definitely got whatever momentum is in the field. It's all in the Radman camp, as he is 2 for 2 on the season, really making a statement after missing the last race of last season. He's got something to say. Coming into season 9, he said he's going for the championship. I think he's serious now. this is going to be an awesome run to watch him tear through this schedule as we go forward.
Believe we're going to be able to get through some interviews here. We've got Zach Henry dialed up if you wanted to get on that one.
Zach Henry, it's Brill and the boys up in the booth. Got a copy?
Yes, I did.
Well, man, it looked like you had the long run truck there early on in the race. We saw you get mired back with that speeding penalty and then fight your way back through it. Unfortunately, gotten a little dust up with Madalinas. How was the race out there?
I mean, I thought it was fine. I mean, just you could if you get out front, you could kind of just drive away with it if you've got any kind of pace. The speeding penalty, I still don't know how I got it. I mean, I was running 45 all the way down pit road. Then as I turned into the curb, I barely cracked 46. Didn't even see the slowdown thing. Immediately back to back down, and then penalty. So, yeah, I mean that's never happened before. So, starting out the season strong, I guess. But the race is good.
Yep,
It is fun.
still a top three for you. Like me and Elliot were talking up here in the booth. There's no wiggle room on that speeding penalty. So an unfortunate miring, but you rebounded nicely. Talk about that contact with Madalinas there at the end. Were y'all just getting down to it? Was there some drama to be had? I couldn't necessarily hear anything on the radio, but walk us through those last 3 laps.
So I going down the back stretch, I was kind of right on Magdalenas's bumper, just kind of looked low. Um, and then he just kind of turned across my nose there. I guess I mean, I don't know. I didn't think there was anything wrong with that. And then got to his inside and um just kind of felt like he squeezed me real hard in 1 and 2, and then just kind of turned into my right quarter panel. I don't even think I had started coming up the track yet to exit the corner and just started turning me. So I don't know. And then I feel bad for Shane there. I mean, I was just out of control. I just kind of turned down right in front of him, but I was just sliding the rear. So I don't know. I mean, it is what it is. Would have been the first time, I guess, something like that's happened between the two of us. So I don't know. I'll talk to him at some point.
Well, it was really entertaining to watch up here in the booth. It's a good thing you still managed to hold on for that third place position. We're off to Michigan next week. How are you feeling about that one going forward as opposed to the the bigger short track here in Phoenix?
You know, I like the you know the tracks with a little more off throttle time. Michigan, I don't know. My luck's been hit or miss there. I either finish real well or I get caught up in something that's unfortunately just people being super aggressive, trying to side draft and stuff, just because that's the way that track goes. Hopefully, all of us 2511 guys will be able to work together, qualify well, and just kind of line up and go and maintain, our presence up there in the top, 5, 6, 7, 8 spots, and then have something for the end of the race.
Well, we'll be looking for you to repeat this performance next week out there in the Irish hills. Do you have anyone to thank here tonight for your good run here at Phoenix?
I got to shout out my wife as always. I know she's watching. I got some family watching as well. The 2511 teammates. Jump was a big help at getting me up to speed here. This is one of my worst tracks, and really kind of showed me what to do around this place, and that obviously paid off. It's good to get Chris back here in GLR. Had a very rough return to the series, but I mean, we all know Chris. He'll bounce back. And then Preston, he had some good speed. Fortunately, a little bit of bad luck, but. It's good to have him on the team as well, and getting faster every time he hops on here. And then you guys, I mean, I enjoyed watching the broadcast last week, and I'm sure this one was pretty good as well, with especially with all the kind of action that happened throughout the race.
We certainly had a lot of it, so it was fun watching you come back up through the field there to rebound to where you finished. Zach Henry with a third place position tonight. Thanks for talking to us, Zach.
Thank you, Brittle.
And next in the booth, we've got Hunter Madalinas, second place finisher for the second week in a row. Same top 2. We'll get to Radman in a second here, but Madalinas, you got us?
Yeah, I got you.
Talk to us about that last lap. Jack said he'll, end up talking to you, but he felt like you kind of came down into him a little bit. Didn't really know if you were turning down into him or if he came up or what was going on there for that to. I mean, it got hairy, but you all somehow made it through there without any major incident happening.
Yeah, I mean, I would have to go look back at it. I feel like we were just both driving really hard. I may have been coming down. I kind of backed the corner up, trying to get the runoff in case he was able to clear, and it could I may have just misjudged it or him come up. But like I said, I would have to come back and go look at that. But uh, yeah, I don't know.
So you had a good run tonight, but 2 weeks in a row here, you've been sitting bridesmaid to the 29 car. What do you have to do next week at Michigan to get it done?
Well, not throw the race away when I'm in the prime position. There was that one restart. Wasn't used to fresh air, and just I went into 3 and 4, and the back end just came out. Had to lift off of it, got into the wall a little bit, and that's where he was able to get around us. And uh, I'm able to put myself in these good positions to have a shot at the win. But then I feel like, I mean, I just keep making these mistakes that are costing me them.
It's been a pleasure to watch you make your way around this season and looking forward to seeing what you do at Michigan. Do you have anybody to thank for tonight's run?
Yeah, thank you to all the U95 guys. Thank you for you guys for watching and broadcasting this, and just shout out to Radman. Him and me are planning to be about really good championship rivals, so we're hoping we can make this season really well.
Yeah, it's starting off on the right foot with the 29 and the 9 trucks, and we appreciate you coming out here, and we look forward to seeing you next week.
All right, thank you.
And last but certainly not least, we've got Malad Radman.
Radman, it's Brittle and the boys up in the booth. Got a copy?
And 4, how are you guys?
Doing good, man. I think we're just going to have to start giving you permissions to enter this channel whenever you want. You're 2 for 2 this season. How are you feeling going back to back here in season 9?
Pretty lucky. I mean, I was definitely like the 4th or 5th, 4th fastest car that race. And the first run, I was 5 seconds behind 3rd. It's because I didn't know what I was doing. And then that second run, well, the caution came out at a really good time for me. I was on pit road with Zach, I think. I put Nathan back a little bit. And then, yeah, I fell back to 4th, and I just had to learn from the front 3. The front 3, Nathan, Zach, and Hunter were all really fast. And so I was just, I learned, and I quickly was able to keep up with them. So I was like, okay, now I kind of know what to do. I didn't really know what to do in 1 and 2. That was still bothering me, but 3 and 4, I was fine. And then I just got lucky because something happened to Nathan. Zach was speeding, and then I tried running down Hunter. He was a little bit faster. We were like same speed. If he kept that clean air, he would have won the race. But then he got loose or hit the wall or something, and then yeah, I tried faking him to go to the outside. He read it, so then I just gave him like a push entering the corner, and he said that it actually like made him overdrive the corner a little bit. And so I was surprised that like when I was on the bottom, it stuck and that I was able to clear him. Once I got the lead, caution came out. Then it was more like I was asking my chat like, what do we do about Zach? Because I'm scared of Zach. So I took the top to try to pin him. Almost lost the lead. I was like, well, never again. Took the bottom and then just tried to hold on from there. And clean air was really big. I didn't realize it. Clean air is huge. Like I was able to. I don't think I went 100% those last 50 laps because I was just able to keep the truck from getting loose, and I was fine. Like I don't know, it was kind of weird how important clean air is. But once I got that, I felt like if I just didn't make mistakes, I would win the race.
Well, it was an awesome drive for you tonight, man, going back to back. I can tell you from personal experience, I'm sure Elliot can back me up. I think we're all a little afraid of Zach Henry. That dude's got pace everywhere we go. So awesome to see you hold him off. Great battles all night long to really set yourself up well here early on in the season. Next week, however, we're going a little bit different, going back to the bigger tracks at Michigan. How are you feeling about that one as compared to Phoenix here?
I'm feeling good. I think Michigan was one of my first races when I came to the league last season, and yeah, TCB and I kind of held that down, and so it'll be the same thing. It'll be working with TCB, not like Daytona and Talladega, because the truck gets loose, and so you have to be careful of that. But I'm pretty confident, much more confident than Phoenix, that we can get a good victory there, win or second place or third place. Like I said, I'm going for the championship. Hunter has 2 second place finishes as well, so it's really important to get points. And so winning is fun, but like also it doesn't like give you playoff points and stuff like that. So I just need to make sure I get good results. And but I'm excited for next week. Michigan, yeah, I have a race there under my belt, and we'll see if me and TCB could hopefully get a 1-2. That'll be the goal.
Yeah, it seems like you and Hunter have got a death grip on the standings right now. I'll be interested to see how the both of you finish next week here at Michigan. Before we let you go, do you have anyone to thank here tonight for your performance?
Yeah, again, thank you to my subscribers, the chat for watching. We had like 330 viewers at one point there towards the end. So thank you guys, as always, for watching, subscribing, for the support. Thank you to TCB and to everyone in the league letting me race, having fun. It was a fun race. I do want to apologize to the 11 because I think the lap 1, I didn't know I was 3 wide. My spotter never told me, so that was a little bit annoying. So that was frustrating, but yeah, thank you to you guys for broadcasting. Thank you to everyone in the league. The racing's been fun, and we will try to go 3 for 3. I'm already shocked we went 2 for 2, so we'll try to go 3 for 3.
Yeah, man, it's been awesome watching you tear through this thing. Malad Radman finishing number 1 for 2 weeks in a row. Thanks for talking to us, Radman.
Thank you. Good night, guys.
And with that, we've completed our interviews. Elliot Henderson, how are you feeling about this one as compared to Phoenix races in the past?
I think we got a pretty good show tonight. I didn't expect the same 1-2 that we had last week, but like you said, they've kind of got a stranglehold on the field now, and it'll be interesting to see. Obviously, go into a completely different discipline at Michigan from what we've had at Phoenix and Daytona. How well these two can hang on. Obviously, Radman's shown that he has speed at a lot of different tracks. Won a couple different races last season in his part-time effort. Madelinas has won at all different types of tracks throughout his career so far. And then obviously Zach making a strong run at it now. I think, if you're talking big 3, big 5-ish, you've got 3 of them up there already with Madelinas, Radman, Henry. And, I think we'll have to see how Jump, Heller, and these other guys start to navigate that going into Michigan.
An excellent night of racing all night long. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll take you through the finishing order here one last time before we go. Radman, as previously mentioned, back-to-back wins here to open the season. He's already establishing himself early on as the favorite here, as we're just, like I said, two races in going into next week at Michigan. Hunter Madelinas takes second place. Zach Henry third. That was really your big 3 of the night. Jared Darling in fourth, backing up his performance from the last time we were here in Phoenix with a solid 4th place run. Nathan Jump, after all his trials and tribulations tonight, still manages to hold on to a top 5 finish. Great effort from him. Shane Neiswanger 6th. Spencer Owens 7th. Jackson Sims 8th. Chris Heller in the 9th position, and Gavin Fitzgerald rounds out the top 10.
Yeah, honestly, a huge shout out to Heller to drive back up to a top 10 finish after how his night started. More shout outs here. Aiden DuPont started back pretty far in the field, 18th spot, drove all the way up, ended up 11th here tonight. Austin Moore, again, we talked about, didn't qualify, started 30th, had a lot of different issues tonight as well, was a lap down at one point. He finishes 12th. I'm sure he's just ready to get back on the road and get out to Michigan because tonight was not really where he wanted to be, but 12th is a great comeback. Eric Keff quietly just ran around 15th to 10th, ended up 13th. Louis Woodall, another one, finishes 14th, ran right around that spot all night. John Berry, who tried some bold strategy in the middle of it, ends up 15th. Not a bad night for him. Ashton Lawson, probably one of the bigger losers on the evening after starting out so well. Kind of got cycled back, got involved in a little bit of accidents and skirmishes, and probably had close to a top 10 at the end and got a little sideways on one of those late restarts. Ended up 16th, unfortunately for him. Good showing for Nicholas Purcell, who I think showed up for his first race tonight. So 17th, didn't really cause any issue. Didn't have to say his name too many times. So just a nice solid night for him. Matt Green 18th, James Shiflett 19th. TCB, another unfortunate side of the evening, finishes 20th tonight.
Brent Kingcott finishes in the 21st position tonight. After all the noise that he made, you hate to see a finishing position like that. Definitely didn't deserve it based on his performance and the strategy that he played. Really wish we could have seen him finish a little higher here, but he soldiers on nonetheless. His teammate Rod Fosnoff finishes in 22nd, right behind him. Mike McConville in the 81. He was caught up in a lot of stuff tonight. Unfortunate night for him. Michael Senzi rebounded for a 24th place position after getting caught up in those wrecks early on. Preston Henry, 25th. Tyler McClellan, through all the trouble that he went through tonight, is 26th. Robin Durr comes home 27th. Alex Fetter, 28th. Matt Durr, 29th, after that big hit early on. And then Adolfo Delgado rounds out your top 30.
And ending up tonight, I don't believe Adolfo or Aiden ran laps. They may or may not be scored, but they respectively finished 30th and 31st. And that'll round out your field as we look forward to Michigan next week.
Great night of racing here in the virtual Phoenix Desert. Thank you so much for joining all of us. From Split Second Broadcasting, follow us on Twitch at Split Second Broadcasting. I'm Hunter Brittle. This is Elliot Henderson signing off. We'll see you in Michigan.